hard to win in Baton Rouge as well, and South Carolina's found wins hard to come by this season. LaNorris Sellers came in, was the preseason SEC first-team, all-team quarterback, and, man, it's not been a good start. What's going on with South Carolina offensively?
Yeah, I know that he's, there's been banged up a little bit, but not excuse. And Shane Beamer's not going to make him. Maddie, not just you guys. I was looking at that schedule this morning. It is brutal for them, too.
Yeah.
You start to go through the gamut that they got to deal with. Even though you guys haven't played your best, we know the potential and how difficult it is in Baton Rouge. I don't know. It looks rigid to me, and I've watched him, and at times it's unwatchable. And he had high expectations. You know how I felt about him in the preseason. I think remember I was talking about polish and the guy who can beat you if one of them's taken away, that he can beat you. Let's say his feet, his big body, and that incredible playmaking skills that LaNorris Sellers has, that he can take over a game, and we've seen it in the past. But it almost feels, and I don't want to say the hype got to him, because I do like Coach Beamer, I do. But for whatever reason, but we've seen it. We see it with Penn State. We've seen it with Clemson. We've seen it with we see it with the University of Texas, that the hype, matter of fact, think about it, Klubnik, Arch, LaNorris Sellers, even in us, the 4 or 5 top quarterbacks in this country going into this season, Heisman, top draft picks, none of them yet have. We've seen flashes, but none of them have played in big games the way that they're supposed to play, and that we expect a first top 5 guy or Heisman Trophy guy to play like. LaNorris Sellers, the danger part of this, Matt, is that he's got so many different ways to beat you that at some point they're going to have that game. Now, a tough place to go play it, and coming off of some rest, and they'll be ready to go and hopefully healthy, meaning LSU. But I would caution people, even though it hasn't looked pretty, he still is one of those guys. He's raw, Matty, he is. And he's going to take a lot of coaching to be the guy I've talked about that doesn't have to beat you with the wear you out physically, that he can beat you in other ways. But we've seen, and I watched him last year, literally a game or two take over a game and flat out will his team to victory. It sounds easier said than done, and it is easier said than done, but he's due for a monster performance, and he can kill you with both his legs, his physicality, and also the arm. So I would caution us to think this will be an easy one if you're LSU, because of the way they've played. At some point in time, they're going to play better. I know LSU hopes they can put a stop to it, but the guy's got the skill set, as going by the preseason vote, the skill set to be a really good player. He's just not a polished one yet. I think he needs more coaching in the passing game.
We'll get right back to the video, but thrilled to welcome Our Lady of the Lake to AFR LSU. As the championship health partner of LSU athletics, the physicians at Our Lady of the Lake serve the champions on the field in the purple and gold, but that same level of care is available to you and your family. I've been a proud supporter of Our Lady of the Lake my entire life, from volunteering at the Ronald McDonald Playroom as a high schooler to helping so many of the fundraising efforts for the standalone Children's Hospital, to my own son being a patient now at that very Children's Hospital, and my primary care physician, Dr. Kurt Chastain, at Our Lady of the Lake Men's Health Group. Our Lady of the Lake has been a part of my medical journey my entire life, and you can learn more as well. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU. Together, we roar. It's interesting because there's been a lot of those comments about the LSU offense as well, which came in with great expectations. It hasn't lived up. I'm curious, Sean, in an open date, aside from getting healthy, you go through self-scout. LSU's 121st in the country in rushing offense. How much better realistically can you get during your open date?
Well, and Matt, I don't know off the top of my head. I know you do, because you got all that. How many attempts or their commitment to it? I know I watch them, but the literal commitment to it. The runs versus pass and ratio and the stuff, the balance we're looking for. I do know going into it, it'd be easy if I was a coach and a team to rely on the guy that was under center heading into this season, because you expect him to make all the throws, and he's at that stage that we do expect it and expect more. But it doesn't matter who the guy is or how good he is. If that is that bad, and there's the commitment, while you want to commit to it, but you still don't, you put the ball in his hand, it puts an extra burden on him. And then if he is banged up or sore, or if he is hurting, or you're not playing as well, and all of a sudden you're not blocking up front and you're getting your quarterback hit and he's taking hits, and then he wants to force balls in because you at times playing from behind and you got to make plays, it compounds problems. I don't care what anybody says. As valuable as it gets, find me, look around. Jalen Hurts, look around the NFL or college teams that consistently win. The D value of the running backs hogwash. I know we've done it in the NFL, but last year was different. Take a look. The teams that do it run the ball. The teams that struggle. I don't care if it's Mahomes or Elway or anybody. If you can't run it, Elway needed Trey'Dez to get his 2 Super Bowls. Yeah. And Terrell needed him too. Don't misunderstand me. But I just think when you're that good trying to fix it during the season, 2 things I've always said when it comes to in season. It's hard to work on mechanics as a player, especially at the quarterback position. It just is, because you're putting game plans in and the next game's on you. Now, the bye week gives you a little more time, but it's like anything else. I don't want to have a golf lesson when I'm in the middle of trying to fix it while I'm on the course.
Right.
We'll talk about it and then go to the practice range. But there's not enough time once the season starts. And the other thing is, I believe physical run games or physicality, which includes the run game, I think it's, I don't want to say impossible, but I think it's really, really difficult 5-6 games in to change who you are and also to fix physicality in the run game. Because when you're that low, it's a physical problem. It's not just a running back. It's a physical holes not opening, which also leads to, are they making mental mistakes where there's guys playing in the backfield? And there is. To be honest with you, if at the end of the season, you and I are doing this show and they say, man, they turned around and ended up 12th in the country, I will be shocked. And they're also now in I don't want to say desperate, but they're in a position where they got to win a lot of games. And you're going to rely on your best stuff. And you're not going to try to fix it in a game, but you do have to commit to it and see if you can carve out motions and manipulate it with, and down and distance and formations to give yourself a fair box. But they are, I can't believe I'm saying this about an LSU team when they're getting manhandled at the line of scrimmage in the run game. Yeah, that's not a good thing. I don't believe you can fix physicality, because I got news for you. Bruce Matthews and Anthony Munoz ain't coming out of the stands to play for you right now. And I don't think Barry Sanders has got any eligibility left. So while good players, I'm not saying they're not, but the run game is a bring your own blocker at times. And it's a commitment to, you just got to be more physical than the other team. You can have all the shifty stuff you want. And I don't think you can make wholesale changes. And quite frankly, I don't think you can make quantum leaps in the run game as far as that far down to get where they're going to need to be to win the SEC and be in a playoff. That's a long way. They can still get the playoff, but you're going to have to carve it and manipulate it and fool the system a little bit, because that's a long way to travel during the season.
So the numbers you asked for, so a year ago, and this is a conversation we've had a bunch, so your intuition is right. A year ago, LSU was 60-40 pass run. They didn't really even give a great attempt at balance. This year through 5 games, they've thrown it 184 times, ran it 147. So they're 55-45. They're closer to balance. But against Ole Miss, it was sick. They threw it 34 times and ran it 22 times. Sean, in that game, there were only 2 instances the entire game where they ran the ball in consecutive plays.
Yeah, and that can't happen, because it also gets to a point where those big fellas like the rhythm, right? And the balance is better. But what happened, and then if you're doing that and you're not getting, you're running it and then you're throwing it, you're running. First of all, defensive teams pick up on that. Tendencies are nothing more than evidence, and that you'll study the next week. So, and then it's hard to commit to it. Then if you're a fan, or Matty, if you and I are in the media and we're saying, man, 55-45, but look where they're ranked. So what gives? You're still trying to run it, but you're not doing anything. And then as obvious, when you're not getting success in the run game, what happens? They change up how they're coming after you. Plus, they playing in long yardage situations, Matt. You can handle that a game or two, a series or two. But if that's where you're at, it's first and 10, it's 2nd and 8, it's 3rd and 7 every now and then you get into a passing fancy. Even though it's been pretty balanced, you're still going to rely on what you think you do best. And we know that's been Nussmeier, who you're counting on as their best, their thrower and the guy who's a veteran to do it. But with that balance, it's got to be better, which tells you there's either lapses in the mental part of not knowing who to block, or they're just not physical enough to move the pile. Good distribution. I'm good 60-40, 55-45. Mm-hmm. But what I'm not good is not running it 2 times in a row. Yeah. Because that tells everybody that you're abandoning it too quickly. And in a game like that, and you're giving up possessions to a pretty explosive team. And in truth, Matty, we watched it. Ole Miss was more physical than LSU, and we don't say that very often in the past, but they were, and it's going to have to change. I don't know how you change it, but maybe you're going to have to design different formations to get guys space, because right now there's not a lot of it.
Coming off an open day, it'll be very telling to see how the Tigers healthier and 2 weeks to prepare and sort of reassess how they look. And, of course, we'll talk about it every week here with Sean Salisbury. Y'all get him on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. Make sure you go subscribe on YouTube there. to Unpaved on YouTube. The link's there in his Twitter bio as always. Sean, we appreciate it, man. Thanks for being flexible again today, man. We appreciate you as always. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.